I'm sure one day I'm going to look back fondly at this moment of all the trouble and strife that I've been through. Yes, that was rhyming slang. No, there was no hidden meaning within it. Just like those words. Can't believe I just rhyming slanged on my YouTube channel. Oh no. Yeah, it's gonna be a great start. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Sorry that I haven't done one of these sit down kind of tutorial things in quite a while, but it's been a bit of a hectic month or so. So this tutorial was actually supposed to be up about 4 weeks ago. The entire process has been about 6 weeks. This process has been so tedious. I'm not even joking. Everything at every turn, every section of this that is usually just one after the other and it goes perfectly fine. There was something wrong every single time. Up until the point where I applied it to my face, something went wrong. 6 weeks this took me. 6 weeks. Doing this and listening to what I do and the advice that I give you, it's not going to take you 6 weeks. It's just because, 1, I was unprepared. 2, I was terrible at time management. 3, I had the wrong products. And 4, I went on holiday. And so, there's a lot of different reasons why. Okay, it took so long. So, the word of the day is delay, for obvious reasons. So without further ado guys, let's I don't have anything witty to say, so let's just go. So you are going to want to start with a face cast, preferably of your own face. Though it isn't necessary, you can just go to a craft store and buy yourself a mannequin head. But if you are planning on doing face prosthetics like this in the future, then this is always something handy to have around. But this does lead me on to fail number 1. Having a face cast that isn't correctly cast to your face. So this is actually one that I did 6 weeks ago because I couldn't find my original face cast. So I decided to make one quite quickly. It wasn't made properly and I decided that instead of sanding it down, I was going to use acetone to get rid of all the bumps, which then meant that I eroded half of my nose. Useful. But I just thought, you know, hey, it's gonna be fine. I could just build it up with a bit of clay to add the missing pieces together. It'd be totally fine. So this part is actually completely optional. Originally, I was going to add the swirls of the Death Eater mask into the prosthetic itself, but then later on decided to paint them on. So this is why I am creating a large amount of clay, which will then be going over the face cast itself and creating a nice base to add extra dimensions to. If you are going to do this step, then make sure that the clay that you are using has been rolled quite thinly, as you do not want to have a large gap between your face and the prosthetic that you make, as this is going to go straight over all of the crevices in your actual face cast, if that makes sense. Also, don't worry if the clay that you are using is too small for the face cast. You can just go over the missing pieces later on and blend them all together. Now would also be a good time to mention that the clay that is best to use for this kind of design onto a face cast to create a mold is oil-based clay. Now this actually leads me on to fail number 2, which is make sure that you are using the correct kind of clay, as I am sorely about to find out. Oil-based clay is the best to use because it doesn't dry out. So just keep that one in mind. And now it's time to start building up the shape of your Death Eater mask using some extra rolls of clay. I am using 2 different reference photos and picking the best kind of stuff that I wanted from each of them to make my Death Eater look as best as possible. For me personally, Death Eaters look very skeleton-like and slightly robotic, probably because of the colour. So this is kind of what I was going for, was a mixture of the two. But it's totally up to you. You can create your own. You can make your own design or you can use a reference photo. I found both of mine on Google, so you can do whatever your heart desires. So make sure to map out where you want your design to be, where you want to build the design up, before scoring the edges into the clay that you laid as a foundation, and then blend it out. Halfway through this, I also decided that I wanted to get a little bit more creative with this, so decided to stop using the reference photos as a reference, I guess, and would go back to them later on for the design element of this tutorial. My camera died and I didn't realise, so the only bit you missed is that I made a mouthpiece, and now I am just adding in some finer details like nostrils so that I can breathe when I put this on my face. Then, using a toothpick, I decided that I was going to etch in all of the swirls and designs within the mask before actually applying anything on top of the design. I then realised that I was too impatient for this and that I would have preferred to have painted it on so that you could see it better. So this is completely pointless showing you because I scrapped it in the end. But this does lead me to fail number 3. If you are not happy with the design that you have etched into your creation, then make sure that you are going over all of the areas that you are not happy with more clay. That being said, if you have followed my steps beforehand of using oil-based clay, then this will not be an issue. But I didn't, so it is. But I wasn't thinking about these things because I was about to go pick up my friend to go on holiday for a week, so just left it as it is, you know? And this was the consequence. Cracks everywhere. So now I am trying to cover up this disaster by adding some latex, which is going to be the base for our prosthetic. So if you have followed the steps of using oil-based clay, then you will not have this issue, but you will still need to cover your entire prosthetic or design with liquid latex to create your mask. I would recommend that when you are applying the latex onto your design, that you do it all in the same kind of motion, so all in the same direction. That way you're not going to get any odd textures or any build-up of any kind of latex anywhere. I hope this is making sense. Fail number 4, no dabbing with a sponge. It's going to give you a weird texture. Learn from my mistakes. It's not going to look metallic in any way. I tried to recover it. I think I did, but no dabbing with sponges. None. Just paintbrushes. Swipe with beautiful, beautiful paintbrushes. So I recommend that you do about 10 layers of latex, one on top of the other. You can use a hairdryer in between each of your layers to help it dry quicker. I prefer not to because I feel like the latex will dry more evenly if I let it air dry, which is also why it took so long. But yeah, totally up to you, whatever you prefer. Fail number 5, know what colour a Death Eater mask is. It's not copper, it's not bronze, it's pewter, an aged kind of silver colour. There you go, that's better. Then once you're happy with your base coat of silver, go ahead and wait for it to dry. I then recommend going over your entire coat of silver with a coat of liquid latex just to seal everything in. Then go ahead and repeat the process a couple of times until you are happy with the results. Cheeky change of camera angle. Now this video has far too many fails in it already, so I'm just going to add this all into one. This is fail number 7, using the incorrect paints to paint on all my different swirly spiral things. Now, I did start using the reference photo to create the spirals and then gave up after a while because it made no sense to me whatsoever, so I decided to just create my own kind of shapes on my Death Eater mask instead, and found that using an alcohol-based paint pen was the best form to use. So far so good. I cut out the eyes at one point. Can't remember when I did that, but I cut out the eyes at some point so I could see. Add in some cheeky shading if you should so desire. Oh my god, I gave my Death Eater a mustache. How did I not see that? Now, for some reason, this was one of the most terrifying parts of this entire process, which was actually covering my Death Eater mask with another few layers of liquid latex, just to protect everything and keep everything sealed inside so that it doesn't get ruined. But for some reason, in my mind, I just thought, what happens if the liquid latex doesn't dry clear? Thank you, physics. Nicely done. Now, once you have done your final few layers of latex over your design to lock everything in, it is time to take your mask off of your mold. Now, this leads me on to fail number 8, which is, unfortunately, I used air drying clay instead of oil-based clay, which means that I have created a locked mold, which means that the mold itself has actually infused itself onto the face cast, which is going to make it very difficult for me to take off. There is, however, a way to fix this. It will, however, take some time, and you may end up ruining your face cast in the process, but do not despair because you can still fix it and there won't be too much irreparable damage. So what you need to do is actually crack the mold that is underneath that you created with the clay until you have cracked it completely off of the face cast. Make sure that the prosthetic on top is still intact. Do not try to rip it off. Just make sure that you're cracking the clay underneath. Then what you need to do is take the entire clay and prosthetic concoction that you now have into a bucket of warm water and submerge it in the warm water for a few minutes at a time. This will then dissolve the clay and you will be able to etch off quite gently any remaining pieces of clay that are left. So as you can see here, I am actually lining the entire border of my mask with a layer of latex, just to make sure that everything is properly sealed within the latex itself, so that when I do submerge it into water, nothing is going to get ruined. And now I can breathe a sigh of relief because it worked. The design itself is a little bit faded, but that's okay because I can fix that a little bit later. The other side is a hot mess, but we won't talk about that. No one's going to see it anyway. But for the time being, all I'm going to do is take some small nail scissors and pick out the holes of my nostrils so that I can breathe, and cut a small line into the mouthpiece so that I can actually fix it onto my lips, so that I will be able to talk, eat, drink, move around quite freely and comfortably. As well as this, I'm also going to be going around the edges of the eyes just to smarten things up, as well as around the edge of the mask itself, just to make things a little bit more cleaner. And once you're happy with the way that it looks, it is time to fully commit to the dark side. Now, I will be applying a bald cap for the purpose of this tutorial. It's completely unnecessary, but just wanted to do it for a bit of show. So if you do have long hair, make sure that you are tying it at the nape of your neck in a low ponytail if you are going to be using a bald cap. Then, using a spray bottle filled with water, I am spraying this over my head just to slick back my hair and tame any flyaways so that it doesn't get caught in any of the prosthetic glue that I will be using. My bald cap legitimately ripped in half. As if that's a thing. But it's a good thing I had a spare. Then using some Prosthetic, I am going to stick that bad boy down. And I'm then going over the joining of my skin and the bald cap with some liquid latex, just to give it a nice seamless line. Also like to mention that it might be a good idea for you to put some Vaseline over your eyebrows as well, just so that you don't rip out any of the hairs when you apply the Prosthetic to your face when applying the mask. Next, what you want to do is actually put the mask onto your face so that you can make sure that it sits comfortably and so that you can get the placement right for when you stick it down for real. Next, what I like to do is draw a line at the top of the mask. This is completely optional, but I would recommend it just in case the mask does fall off of your face, just so that you know where it should be placed when applying your prosthetic adhesive. Then, keeping the mask on your face, fold down the top of the mask and apply your prosthetic adhesive onto the top where you created your guideline. Wait about a minute for this to dry and then fold the top back over it and smooth it down to stick it in place. You can then go over this with latex to give it a smoother line. That being said, if your mask does extend over your hair and you're not wearing a bald cap, then don't do this step, please. Then whilst you're waiting for this to dry, go ahead and start touching your mask all over your face to find the points of contact where your mask touches your skin. These are the places that you are going to want to apply your prosthetic adhesive to, so that your mask will stick comfortably to your face with all range of movement available to you. So for me personally, it was the sides of my nose, around my eyes, my lips, my jawline, and the sides of my cheeks. So these were the places that I wanted to pay particular attention to when applying my Prosthetic. Then go ahead and lift up your mask and apply your prosthetic adhesive onto these areas, as well as areas surrounding it, so that your mask can adhere to these places as well, just in case you need it to. Also, be very careful around your eyes and your lips. You don't want this Prosthetic to go into your eyes. You don't want it to attach itself to your eyelashes either, so you can always go over your eyelashes with some Vaseline. And you don't want to ingest it because it's not good for you. Then wait about a minute for it to dry and stick your mask down. Then once this is set, go ahead and apply your prosthetic adhesive to any areas that you think may still need it. Then, using the same colour that I used to paint the Death Eater mask, I am going ahead and painting this over my ears, the rest of my face that is exposed, as well as around the bald cap to extend the mask further onto my face and head. This is completely optional. I am actually going to be wearing a hood with this look, so this is completely unnecessary, but it's just in case the hood falls away from the mask that it won't show any exposed bald cap or skin. Yeah. I'm then taking that same colour and applying it to my eye area as well as part of my mouth area, just to fill in the colour of my lips as well. The paint, as it were, that I am using is actually a pigment, so it is safe to use around the eyes. But you can use normal silver eyeshadow if you have it. That is similar to the colour of your mask if you have used normal regular paints instead. I am then going in with a black eyeshadow to add some extra shading onto my mask to give it a little bit more depth. I am then taking that same black eyeshadow and using it a little bit more sparingly around my eyes as well. Then go ahead and line your eyes top and bottom with black eyeliner, as well as adding a bit of that black eyeliner onto your lips as well, if there is any exposed lip action going on. You can colour in your mouth and eye area before applying the mask onto your face, which may be easier to do, but I didn't think about that, so I did it after. But if you want to have the easy way out, I would recommend probably doing it beforehand, and if you like a challenge, then do it after. Then go ahead and apply a second layer of silver onto the extended part of your mask, don the hood, and your look is complete. So there you have it, guys. Hope you enjoyed. Thanks for watching. If you liked what you saw, make sure to give it a big thumbs up, and if you want to hang around a little while longer, because hopefully we'll be back to our regular viewing schedule as of now, then make sure to subscribe wherever it is, and come and join the madness, because it's manic, pretty crazy around here, so you don't want to miss out on all the weird stuff that is about to come through. So yeah, I hope you have a good day and that you have fun recreating this without the mistakes that I made. I had to go through that so that you would be able to do it perfectly. Really, I'm a hero, if you think about it. So until next time, guys, hope you all have a great day, and stay awesome. See you later. High five, jellyfish. I'm out. I'm down with the kids. Yes. I'm not witty today. I really wish I was. There are no puns, no wit, no charm. This video is a fail from beginning to end. Oh man.